Hello everyone and welcome to Medford Anywhere Learning TV. We're glad you're tuned in. We want to give a shout out to our friends at Southern Oregon PBS, KTVL, KDRV, and the Dove Network. Thank you for hosting us on your station. In the Medford School District, we have one shared vision, and that we believe that all are learning, and learning is for all. And what better place to do that than right here on Medford Anywhere Learning TV.
Welcome to Wildlife Images. We are so glad you're joining us today for this virtual field trip. I'm Krista and I'll be your tour guide. This is a special opportunity because you're going to be able to see our wildlife ambassadors up close, even closer than if you were to visit with a class. Remember, the animal ambassadors we're going to meet today live at Wildlife Images full-time because for one reason or another, they would not be able to survive in the wild without human care. We're also going to head into our wildlife clinic to learn about the important work they do there with our patients so that they can be released back into the wild. We're going to start our tour today in our wading bird exhibit, where you're going to meet two species that have come back from the brink of extinction. They are the African sacred ibis and the sandhill crane. These are really cool birds. They're kind of wading birds. They really like the water. They're aquatic birds. So we have a really beautiful enclosure with a waterfall for them and a little stream, and they really, really love it in here. It's their favorite place. Some really cool things about sandhill cranes. Not only are they beautiful to look at with their gray coloring and their really tall, skinny legs, which helps them walk through marshes and wetlands and look for food, but sandhill cranes, they migrate in the western United States in groups of up to 10,000 birds. It's been called one of the most amazing migrations of any animal in the entire world, so it's spectacular to witness. We have two sandhill cranes here with us. They are a male and a female, and their names are Niles and Daphne Crane. These cool birds are over 20 years old, very charismatic, a really fun creature to have here. Our sacred ibis, let me tell you a little bit about them. Sacred ibis were most known for being in the country of Egypt. And this bird has a rich history all the way back to the pharaohs. So they were so revered that pharaohs would have them mummified with them. And actually millions of mummified ibis have been found in the tombs in Egypt. So an amazing bird, really cool, rich history, but unfortunately, this bird is extinct in the country of Egypt. In this case, they didn't have enough habitat, and this actually goes for the ibis as well as the sandhill crane. We kind of took over a lot of their habitat, which is their environment. It's their home. It's where they live. We got them into this situation, and it was actually humans that got them back out of this situation. So when we realized that these birds were in danger of becoming extinct, humans stepped in, and we have seen their numbers increase. Kind of a sad story and then a good story at the end there. Right next door to our wading birds is our weathering yard. Let's go see who's out today. Oh, look! It's Buddy the great horned owl and Defiance our bald eagle. You see these bald eagles a lot along the Rogue River and in the Rogue Valley. If ever you go down the river, they specialize in hunting fish from the river, and you'll see them all the time. We're so glad that these birds came back from the brink of extinction, just like our wading birds. They have really bounced back in numbers, and we are so lucky to have this bird at Wildlife Images. Did you know that our national bird was almost a turkey? Thankfully, it wasn't, although turkeys are cute. Our national bird is a bald eagle like Defiance here. He's not actually bald, it just refers to the white feathers on his head. Not all owls make a hooting sound, but the hoo-hoo, that sound that you hear and associate with owls, comes from the great horned owl. Great horned owls are one of the most common owls in all of North America, and they're also known as the tiger of the sky. These are just two of the nearly 20 raptors that we have here at Wildlife Images that call this place home. Raptors are not the raptors that you see in Jurassic Park. These are specialized birds of prey, another name for raptor. There are many different types of birds of prey. There are eagles and hawks, there's falcons, there's vultures and owls, so many different species, you guys. These animals specialize in being predators of the sky. They have really cool adaptations. One of them is their sense of sight. They can see way better than anyone else or any human or any binoculars that you could put up to your eyes. One of the other cool things about these birds of prey are their talons. These animals have really sharp claws on the end of their feet, and it's perfect for grasping prey and subduing it. The talons these birds have are not only like hands, but they're like forks and knives. They're going to pull these talons down on their prey, and they're going to use their incredibly sharp beaks to pull off little chunks that they're going to swallow. These animals are amazing. We are so glad to have them here at Wildlife Images. Raptors are incredible. Next up on our virtual field trip, one of the most famous animal ambassadors at Wildlife Images. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend, Nubs the badger. Badgers are incredible animals. All right, what Nubs is playing with right now is called enrichment. It's a little bit of fun and entertainment, a way to keep our animals active and engaged when they are in their enclosures. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about an American badger, which is what Nubs is. You can find badgers all over the world, in Europe and Asia, and the honey badger, a really popular one in Africa. But our American badger here can be found throughout most of North America. And oh, look at his claws, you guys. Those claws tell you all about what kind of an animal this is. This is a digger. Everything about this animal tells you it's a digger. Those claws can dig a huge burrow for this animal. This animal is an expert at digging up rodents and ground squirrels. They are the king of open grasslands. That's where they like to live. This animal has been seen in the wild actually working side by side with a coyote. And the coyote will stand at one end of a ground squirrel nest, and the badger will be digging at the other end. Very rare to see in the wild, but it has been caught on film. So badgers have a really distinctive look. They look like a giant football. They have this really cool stripe from their nose all the way to the back of their heads. Their ears are built with really small canals so that when they're digging and their face is down there in the dirt, they're not going to get their ears full of dirt. He's marking his territory. It happens. He's a wild animal. So here's another cool thing about Nubs and about American badgers. So he's not huge, right? Of course there's some animals that are going to want to try and eat him. But this is one of the most ferocious, fierce animals in the whole animal kingdom. It has even been known to make a grizzly bear back down from it. They are sassy. Those claws, they have really, really sharp, strong jaws with sharp teeth in them, and the claws itself. And look at the shape of Nubs here. On his sides, it's all loose, flabby skin. Don't tell him he's flabby. I mean, I don't want to offend him. But if an animal tries to grab it, they're going to get mostly skin on the side. They're not going to get much but teeth and growling and snarling and sharp claws. So not very many animals will take on a badger in the wild. All right, I want to tell you out there why Nubs is here at Wildlife Images. He has a really special story, and he's a really good wildlife ambassador for badgers. So a mama badger will have 1 to 4 babies in the wild, and Nubs' mom had 3 babies. It was him and a brother and a sister. They were teeny tiny. They weighed about 1 pound. They were about the size of a potato, and they came here to Wildlife Images. And they had to get bottle raised and raised by humans. And what that means is they're not afraid of humans. They're used to humans. They like humans. Humans mean food to them. And so he cannot be released back to the wild. So he stayed here with us. We offer him a really pretty cush lifestyle here at Wildlife Images. And he gets to live out the rest of his life with us. One of the coolest things about Nubs is that he was cared for right here at Wildlife Images. Since he was born, a lot has changed, and wildlife rehabbers are even more successful at preparing an animal for release back into the wild. And that's what we're all about. At Wildlife Images, our mission is to save wildlife. Let's learn a little bit more about that by going to Jen, who's taking care of some adorable baby flying squirrels in our wildlife clinic.
These two flying squirrel babies came into us because a tree was cut down. They happened to be in it and they were in their nest. The finder did try to reunite with the parents, but unfortunately it was not successful. We will have some luck during the summer where some parents will take their babies back even if humans have touched them. But in this situation, mom didn't come back. We've had them for about 2 weeks now, and they're doing pretty well. They are in a stage where they're very vulnerable. They have their eyes closed still. And so their bodies are growing so much that we just really have to monitor everything that we possibly can. Most of the time with field trips, we aren't able to allow people to see into the clinic. So this was really special that you could see our flying squirrels getting fed. Wildlife rehabilitation means that we take in sick, injured, and orphaned animals, and we try to help them get to a point where they can be released and go back out into the wild. In the spring and summer, we get our baby season, and so we're about to see a lot of patients coming in, including those baby flying squirrels. And those babies, some of them are true orphans, and some of them come in because they fell out of a nest and have some sort of injury that they need help with. And sometimes they come in because people don't realize that they didn't need to come in at all. Some of the animals, such as deer and rabbits, will actually stash their babies in certain areas and won't come back to them for a couple hours or more. And other babies, if you see them without their mom, then it's a big deal, and you want to make sure that you know what the right situation is. During baby season, we get a lot of baby birds. Some of them do need help and some don't, and we get a lot of questions about which ones are okay to bring in and which ones aren't. Some birds go through a stage where they're fledging or figuring out how to fly, and some of those species will actually be on the ground for a few days or more, unable to fly, and so people think they're injured. But more often than not, the parents are still there and taking care of those babies too. But there are some species also that you do want to bring in if you find them on the ground. Swallows and swifts, if you find those particular birds on the ground, then it is a problem and they need to come in. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help teach everyone what situations an animal needs help. And so if you ever have questions about it, we're always happy to help talk you through different situations. Some of the animals in our care take a long time to grow and mature and make it to release. When we get pond turtles in, they'll be here for a year, potentially, depending on their injuries, because they take a very long time to heal. And then other patients that we get in, such as some of the birds that hit a window, they might just need a day or two of just relaxing, then they'll get to be released a lot faster. Our goal at Wildlife Images is always to release the patients that come in. Some just take a lot more time to heal and get ready for release than others. We tend to get about 1,000 patients per year, and those species can range everything from pond turtles to hummingbirds. Sometimes we'll get foxes and herons, eagles. But one of our most common intakes in the summer are baby skunks. We get a lot of skunks every year. Last year we actually ended up with about 35 of them, and they are smelly right from the get-go. And we like to be able to talk about skunks here at our facility, and so we actually have 3 ambassador skunks that live here at Wildlife Images, and you're going to be meeting one of them with Krista on your virtual field trip.
All the smells. Scratch is a striped skunk, one of the animal ambassadors we have here at Wildlife Images, and he is out roaming around, smelling some new things. He lives here at Wildlife Images with his sister, Sniff. Get it? Scratch and Sniff, haha. And they also have one other skunk friend that lives in their enclosure. Her name is Kimmy. So when you come visit us in the summer, you can have a little skunk encounter, and we get Scratch out, and you get to see him up close and get nice and friendly with him. Don't worry, he is not going to smell too bad. He's a pretty handsome fella, he's a good smeller, and he is used to being around humans. So Scratch's story is that, unfortunately, in the world, a lot of people like to have exotic pets and wild animals as pets. And that's what happened with all 3 of our skunks here at Wildlife Images. People wanted to have them as pets, and guess what? It doesn't work out so good. So we offer them a home. They come here and they get to be ambassadors for the striped skunk. And he is gorgeous. He's so fun to have around. Next, we are headed to meet some of the carnivores who live at Wildlife Images. First up are wolf ambassadors Rogue and Takelma. Rogue. These guys got a special treat today. At Wildlife Images, we have no full wolves, but we do have what we call wolf dogs. You also might know them as hybrids. Rogue and Takelma are our high-content wolf ambassadors here, so they work a lot on training, and you get to see them on the tour when you come. And on the other hand, Agnes and Argo are mid and low content, and you might see them out for an animal encounter when you come. The wolf ambassadors we have here at Wildlife Images all have names in connection to the Rogue River, which is kind of cool. Rogue, which is obvious. Argo, which is named after some rapids on the Rogue River. And then we have Takelma and Agnes. Takelma is named after a Native American tribe that lived along the Rogue River, and Agnes is named after a spiritual elder from that tribe. All of our wolf ambassadors play a really important role here at Wildlife Images. They're really important educators of the public when they come by to teach a little bit about wolf-human interactions. And science continues to prove every single day how important it is to have an apex predator in your ecosystem and your environment. So these guys are so important and so valuable. Gray wolves were once common in Oregon, but the last one was in 1947. That's the last time we knew of a wolf in Oregon. Now skip ahead about 50 years. Scientists learned a lot through reintroduction in Yellowstone and surrounding states. About 50 years after that last wolf was seen, wolves started to come back into Oregon. In 2011, something really awesome happened. For the first time since 1947, a wolf was seen in Western Oregon. He's kind of famous. He was known as OR7. His nickname was Journey because he traveled over 1,000 miles from northeastern Oregon and Idaho to get down here. Gray wolves come in many different shades and colors, but their main characteristic is that they have a really thick gray undercoat. Kind of cool. These guys live in family units, which I love. They can be as small as 2 wolves or as big as 40 wolves in their pack. Wolves aren't the only predators here at Wildlife Images. Let's go meet Brady the cougar and see how we keep our animal ambassadors engaged and active here. Oh my goodness, did you guys see Brady leap up that log like it was nothing? That just shows that it is an ambush predator. This animal is so quiet, and did you hear anything when he jumped up there? I didn't hear a thing. He's totally a silent predator. At Wildlife Images, we provide enrichment for our animal ambassadors. Enrichment is just a fun way to keep our animals healthy and active. It stimulates their natural instincts to want to hunt or smell things and move around their enclosures here. At Wildlife Images, we have 6 cats here. We have 1 cougar, we have 1 lynx, and we have 4 bobcats that call our place home. Our big cat run that we're standing next to is a huge enclosure that we have that we can hide enrichment in and use for our cats to get them exercise. When you come to Wildlife Images, you may not see the same cat out here that you would see the next day, so you have to keep visiting us to see who's out that day. You might know a cougar by some different names. Cougars are known as cougars, mountain lions, and pumas, and they're found throughout North and South America. We live in cougar country. Oregon is cougar country, and in Southern Oregon in particular, this is the largest predator that we have. There's often interactions with cougars and people, but this is a quiet animal. It doesn't want anything to do with you. If you see it, it might just be the tail end of it running away. In North America and South America, cougars are really inclined to eat ungulates, which are like deer and elk, animals that have hooves, and they are specialized for that. Now, there's a term you might hear about cats. We talk about big cats of the world, lesser cats. We also talk about greater cats. So the term greater cats means that that cat can roar. And there's only 4 animals on the planet that can roar. That's a lion, a tiger, a jaguar, and a leopard. So Brady is the 4th largest cat in the world, but he is not considered a greater cat. He is considered a lesser cat, even though he's so massive and ginormous. Brady is such a handsome specimen of a cougar. If you noticed his long tail, it's typical for cougars to have a really thick long tail, and because they're on trees and they're in rocky outcroppings, They use that long tail as part of their body, an extension to help them balance as they jump and leap on their prey. The next animal we are going to meet is right across from our big cat run, but unlike most of the animal ambassadors you've seen so far, this one is not native to Oregon or even to North America. So the Patagonian cavy from South America really looks like a jackrabbit. That's the best way to describe it, kind of a cross between a rabbit and a deer. It's actually a rodent. It's a really cool rodent. It's got really, really long, skinny legs, and that's because it's a grazer. It likes to graze out in open fields and areas in South America, and that makes it a prey animal. A lot of things are going to want to prey on this animal. So it has to be fast and it has to be agile. It's kind of the cheetah of the rodent family. So it has to run fast, and it can run about 35 miles an hour, which is extremely fast. So for you kids, the next time you're in the car, tell your parents to tell you when they're going 35 miles an hour and look out the side. That's how fast this creature can go. And it can jump incredible heights and incredible distances as well. So it's very adapted to outrunning all of the predators that are around there. This animal is really cool in the fact that its unique feet. It has 4 toes on the front foot and 3 toes on the back foot, which is very unusual for it. This cute little creature likes to eat all sorts of grazing materials like grasses and berries and things like that that you would find out there. Today we took Inti, one of our Patagonian cavy, and she is usually not in with the herd. She's in her own separate enclosure. She's got her BFF in there, Neville, and they're just 2 peas in a pod, and so they're buddies together, but today we brought her out into the herd, and she got to explore a little bit. It's really fun. She's having a great time out here. The herd today isn't quite sure what to think of Inti because she's not usually in with them, but it's a very good enrichment activity for them to bring something new into their environment, and also for Inti to bring her into an environment that she's not used to, and they're really all buddies anyway, so it's fine. Give them a little bit of enrichment. These cavies were moved into a front enclosure recently. They used to be kind of in the back and off tour a little bit. It was difficult to get all the way back to see them, but they're up front now, so make sure next time you come you can see them right up front. Watch them run around their enclosures, their little jackrabbit deer-like bodies. They are amazing creatures, and we're so happy to have them here. The final stop on our virtual field trip is to Bear Boulevard to learn why one of the largest animals in North America no longer lives in Oregon. The brown bear, or grizzly bear, really is an incredible species. It's native to Oregon, but you can no longer find him here. The last one disappeared in the late 1930s. In Oregon, although there are no brown bears, there are an estimated 25 to 30,000 black bears. You might think you see a brown bear, but it's actually a black bear. That's because it's kind of a misnamed animal. Black bears are not just black, and brown bears are not just brown. They have lots of different colors, and they can be the exact same color, even though they're a different species bear. Brown bears, or grizzly bears, have a really distinctive hump between their shoulders, and also there's a little difference in their ears. Brown bears have more rounded ears, and they're a little bit shorter. Black bears have taller ears, and they're pointed. Cody and Yak, our grizzly bears, came to us when they were orphans. They came from the state of Alaska, and we gave them a home here because they would not have been able to survive on their own. Cody and Yak are their names. Get it? You put them together, Kodiak. Our brown bears have really cool personalities. So Cody's our male, our big old boy. He is so food motivated. That boy will do anything to try and fill his tummy with the food that we have. On the other hand, his sister Yak, she's so feminine. She likes to build her dens all the time. We're constantly having to fill in those holes as she tries to make her den. Just like all the animal ambassadors here at Wildlife Images, Cody and Yak also get enrichment, and one of the coolest enrichments that they participate in is on Valentine's Day. It's a program that we call Catch and Release, and they get a whole bunch of salmon to feast on, and it raises money for their care and for the other animals here at Wildlife Images. So we are in bear country, and because of that, you need to know how to live safely with bears side by side. Some of the things that you can do are making sure you do not put cat food or animal food outside. Bring it in every night. You can also make sure that you take your garbages out the morning of instead of the night before, or you can even purchase a bear-proof garbage can. When you go out hiking, make sure you make lots of noise. Those bears are not going to want anything to do with you. They're going to be off on their own. But when you're camping, make sure that you have bear-proof containers with you. There are more than 24 places named after grizzlies and their references to them here in Oregon. Places like Grizzly Peak and also Bear Creek, which is kind of cool because it's actually named after an infamous grizzly bear that roamed the area. I can't think of a better way to end our virtual field trip than with Cody and Yak. We want this learning to continue with family activities, craft ideas, online videos and resources, so make sure you check out our website at www.wildlifeimages.org and click on the resources link. And don't forget, soon you'll be able to come see the animal ambassadors face to face as soon as the park reopens.
Thanks for tuning in to Medford Anywhere Learning TV. Medford School District is a place where all are learning, and learning is for all.
Mrs. Olson and Miss McAllister, you guys make me jump for joy! Happy Teachers Week.
Gracias, señora Bebé, por ayudarme a hablar español. Tú eres muy increíble. Adiós.
I'm at the school picking up my stuff. I want to wish all the teachers a happy Teachers Day at 2020 quarantine.
Miss Hawkins, you are the best teacher ever. Heart you rainbow, because you're a rainbow. Hi, Mrs. LaBelle. Hi, Mrs. Southmaid. I love when you read stories to us, and I like when you give us hugs. Happy Appreciation Week. I miss you. Bye. I'm Mr. Gurtel and all the other teachers at Griffin Creek, and thank you for all you do. Hi, Mrs. Bennett. I miss you, and I wish I can be in class with you today. Teacher, I like you because you're so cool, and you teach us a lot of stuff. Teacher, I love you because you help us stand on a ball.
Thank you, Misty.
And Mrs. Marquez and all the other teachers at Griffin Creek, I miss you guys all. And thank you for all you guys do. Bye. Thank you for doing Zoom meetings with us. Thank you, Mr. Pyle.
Thank you for teaching us at school and online.
I'm a son. You're right. Treasure! Thank you very much, Miss Hess, for being my teacher through this very hard year. And it has been hard, but thank you for getting through it, and just being happy and about it. And also thank you for inspiring me to work harder on the subjects that I have not yet mastered.
Mac teachers are flipping great.
Hola, señora Bennett. Gracias por traerme que me mandaste trabajos muy fácil, y también gracias por hacer tus videos de YouTube.
Thank you for teaching us in school and online.
Thank you, Miss Edwards, for being the best teacher you can. My heart is filled with happiness. You bring joy and laughter to this classroom. Congratulations of winning Teacher of the Year. Happy Teachers Week.
You're the best teacher ever. You're nice, kind, caring, awesome, and smart.
I'm so thankful to all of my teachers at Logos for taking the time and putting in the effort to get online classes up for us, and I miss them and I can't wait to see them again.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to my teachers and friends at McLaughlin. Wash your hands.
This is where I know and you miss us, and you've been working super hard for us, and thank you.
Mr. Blair, you're the best teacher in the universe. I miss you
reading to me, playing the guitar, and birthday bombs. See you soon.